We look at all the pattern variables one by one. So the first one was ascription versus achievement. So in this we see that orient oneself toward others on the basis of what they are, that is what is their ascribed status, and other one is what they can do or have done, that is on the achievement of their qualifications. So ascription versus achievement. Ascribed status, which is given to a person as an individual, as a male or a female, or with respect to the age or with respect to the color of a person. In modern societies, employers focus on achievement rather than they focus on the ascription. So it becomes difficult to ignore the merit of a person. So they might be looking into the qualification of a person rather than whether a person is a male or a female, whether a person is a black or a white, whether a person comes from one province, ethnic group, or another ethnic group. So some ascriptive needs are definitely required, but then a person has to go for some qualification. For example, if we have to get the driving license, we have to be of a certain age. Now, age is an ascriptive kind of status. But then, to get the driving license, the person might be eligible, but can he get it? That depends upon the, let's say, training, upon the demonstration, whether or not a person can really observe the rules and regulations with respect to driving. So make an appropriate choice between ascriptive and achievement options. So it depends again on the norms of the society. Normative expectations at the core of the decision, whether a person has to go for ascriptive on the or the achievement kind of thing. So as a student, you must pass the courses for getting the degree, no matter what your ascriptive qualifications are. You might be a very rich person, that's fine, but then you have to, let's say, register yourself. You have to fulfill some of the requirements for getting the degree, because this is an achieved status, not an ascribed kind of status. Second pattern variable is the diffusiveness versus specificity. So range of demands in the relationships, whether these are diffused kind of thing or these demands are specific type of demands. So how the obligations and expectations are negotiated. So diffuseness means the demands are unspecified. So when we look at the friendship relationships, then when we talk about the friends, the demands might be, let's say, unlimited kind of demands. If we are asking a friend to do something, well, why are we asking? Then perhaps we have all these expectations. So the burden of proof on the friend to explain if others' expectations cannot be met. Well, friend is asking for a favor because he expects that the other friend can do it. Well, he is looking into the diffusiveness. He doesn't have to prove that his friend should or should not, or can and or could not fulfill his demands. So that friend is obligated to meet the demands of the other friend. When we talk about specificity, the scope is very narrow and very limited. The burden of proof is on the person making such a demand on the other party to justify that demand. So predefined limits in the professional client relationships. if we are going to, let's say, a professional like a special medical practitioner, well, we cannot expect unlimited kind of let's say demands, asking him to fulfill unlimited kind of demands. We will be demanding something which are within the framework of this professional client relationship. So in the modern society, the relationships specifically defined, but in the traditional society, the relationships are more of a diffused kind of relationships. Thirdly, we look into the affectivity versus affective neutrality. Now, can the actor get emotional gratification in the relationship? Affectivity. Family members relate to each other with affectivity, says emotions are there. Emotionally, we might be fulfilling the demands of the members of our family. For example, teacher and student expected to opt for neutrality. So we don't expect any let's say relationship which is based on blood relation. It's a bloodless kind of existence. So relationships turn out to be instrumental. So we talk on merit, and of course this is more like for the sake of analysis, although many a times unlimited kind of let's say obligations are also there. So particularism versus universalism, that's the fourth pattern variable. The scope of normative standards governing a social relationship. So teacher expected to provide equal treatment to students. That's universalism. There is no discrimination. So the idea is that of equality. So discrimination on the basis of particularistic criteria, that is not there in the universalistic kind of approach or in the modern society. The fifth one is the collectivity orientation versus self-orientation. Now that's the dilemma sometimes, whether a person is going to opt for his personal, let's say, thinking, personal choice, or if he prefers the collectivity. So the question of which party's interest has a priority. Which party means the person, the actor, or the people with whom he is acting. The others could be one person or collective number of persons. So collectivity orientation means one is obligated to give priority to the needs or interests of others or the collectivity as a whole. So the person may have all kinds of differences with the other person or party. He may not like their policy or approach, but still he might sacrifice his, let's say, personal or self-orientation for the collective kind of orientation. The collectivity may be preferred over personal. It's more like family relations. Sometimes the individual might sacrifice his, let's say, personal, let's say, requirements for the requirements of the family. So family relationships actually reflect the collectivity orientation. Self-orientation, individuals' own personal interests are expected to have priority. So market transactions are governed by self-orientations where we look into the profit motivations. So in general, pattern variables falling under the expressive category are likely to occur together as those falling under the instrumental category. So these pattern variables can distinguish the value systems of the entire societies. So we see that the universalistic achievement yet there are internal variations within the whole society.